Hi, good evening. Thank you for joining our online debriefing for the transformative coaching. It's a great delight to have all of you joining us today. So, the purpose of this debriefing is to walk you through what are the requirements to complete the training. First of all, let me welcome all of you and thank you for choosing Coach Master Academy for your coach training. Indeed, we are glad to have all of you here. And this transformative coaching program that we have designed uses our proprietary coaching technology called the Awareness, Clarity, and Choice Conversation. What you can take away from this coach training program is that we uses an empirical approach to effect change that is sustainable. What we have done is that we have integrated the principle of adult learning. That is, we take a look at how people think, and then we use that thinking process to help people to experience their own shift through aligning their intention with their actions, helping them to gain clarity on what really matters most for them, and use that new learning to hold them accountable for their own actions. Another thing that we are appreciating about this program is that there is a thoughtful integration of knowledge and skills to real life application. And you will observe that the structure of this program, 50% of the training space are devoted to supervised practical coaching session. And this is where I felt that this is the most valuable part of the training you can take away for yourself. Coaching at the end of the day is a skill-based training. You can have a lot of theory about what coaching is. You can articulate beautifully what coaching is, but at the end of the day, for you to inspire change, you need to be able to deliver coaching. So we have designed as part of this training, we have allocated 50% of the time, to practical supervision, which we're going to talk about that later. And the third thing that we are proud about our program is that, you can accelerate your learning at advanced level of coaching. At a supervised practical coaching session, we have benchmarked the standard at ICF, a professional coaching PCC level, the professional certified coach level. So it means that, at the end of the day, after your 75 hours training, you can be proud to tell people that I've acquired the skills and the competency at um, ICF PCC level. Okay, so without much further ado, let me get into the main heart of today's debriefing. That is the program structure. Now, the program is divided into two key components. The first component is a 4 days core coaching training, and this is an in-person training. After you have completed the 4 days training, you'll move on to the supervised practical coaching that is conducted via a virtual platform using the same video conferencing Zoom. Let me go through the 4 days core training first. This is an in-person training, and it comprises of two components. The first one is the classroom learning, which take up about 32 hours, and the written assignment, which make up of 8 hours. Let me go through the first one first, the 32 hours of classroom learning. What you will take away from these 4 days is that you will gain the theoretical framework of the transformative coaching. Fundamentally, you will learn what's the difference between transactional conversation and transformative conversation, and how you can engage your clients in a conversation that allows them to get clarity on what really matters most for them. And that is where we that's where we will teach you, the awareness, clarity, and choice conversation. And in this 32 hours of classroom learning, you will get the the depths as we ground you with the science behind the subject matters. You will be able to uh, do a lot of there will be demonstration, and there will be a lot of practice. And most important is that you were able to listen to sample recording of coaching that is done at the mastery level, and that will give you a flavor that of how the transformative conversation sounds like and the impact it has on a real client. So this completes, these are the 4 days training program, and certainly we expect everybody to be, to be there on 4 days. But if there is any reason that you are not able to attend, or you need to be excused for a few hours, please feel free to let your program director know, and we will work around some makeup plans for you, as we do have this training recorded via our online training program, so we can let you have the recording for you to catch up. But minimum, ICF requires participants to maintain at least 80% of in-personal training during the 4 days. After the 4 days core training has completed, we'll move on to the supervised practical coaching session, and that is where the tires hits the road. That is where you integrate what you learn in the classroom and apply them in real life situation. That means you will be coaching one another. The supervised practical coaching session is divided into 10 practical sessions, and each of them is about 1.5 hours. Most of the students, most of our cohorts, most of the groups meet one time per week. Usually it's on the weekday evening time, and it ranges between 8 o'clock to 9 p.m. And the structure of this practical coaching session is there will be a 30 minutes of coaching conversation where uh, one of you, let me just go back a little bit. In this supervised practical coaching sessions, each of you will be assigned a role as a coach, as a client, and as an observer. So based on these 10 weeks, every one of you will get a chance to be a coach one time. And depending on the numbers of people in the group, some of you maybe 2 times or more, it depends. Okay, but there are altogether 10 sessions, and every session someone will be assigned as a coach and coaching one of your friend, your course mate, as a client. Now the focus of supervised practical coaching session is to look at the coaching conversation. We are not looking at the coach or at the client. We get the coach to coach the client so that we can create a case study. We call it a coaching conversation. And later, after the coaching conversation finish, we will invite everybody to offer feedback based on our structured format. It's out of these feedback sessions that we all learns about learns how we can integrate those theory that we taught in class and match that with the behavior or what we hear from the coaching conversation to deepen your learning. So we have 30 minutes of coaching conversation and 1 hour of feedback. Now, in this part of this 1 hour of feedback, the last portion of it is where the supervisor will give comments. The supervisors who is leading the session will offer you a deep insight. How is that recording not or is demonstrating the ICF core competency, or what are those growth opportunity where you can improve the coaching process to create a better or stronger impact. And this feedback session is really very dynamic. It depends on the quality of the conversations. The nature of the conversation, the content, the clients, what is the issue and the topic, and it can be anything under the sky. And the supervisor will use all the opportunity that he can find in that recording to share his knowledge and experience. So this whole entire session will comprise of, you usually take up about 1.5 hours. And what is not reflected on the screen is after the supervisor has finished giving the comments, everybody will log off except for the coach of the day. The supervisor will then have a one-to-one private session with the coach of the day to debrief him on what or her on what are those growth opportunity. And usually for our supervised practical coaching session, there is always more than one supervisor. Our academy is represented in more than 15 countries, and from time to time, we will invite other supervisors from other countries, from Philippines, from Dubai, from Shanghai, from Thailand, to be a co-supervisor with the main supervisor, so that we can enrich our students' learning, getting perspective and from different perspective. Okay, so that is the 10 hours of practical learning, where one of you will be coaching another students as a client. That is just one part of the supervised practical coaching session. The second part of the supervised practical coaching session is the reflective learning. Now, during the practical coaching session, the coaching conversation is recorded, but the feedback and the comments and the debriefing between the coach and the supervisor is not recorded. This recorded conversation will then be uploaded to the forum, and each of you will be given a password to access the forum. It will be uploaded to the forum, and what we require is that the students will then go to the forum and download the coaching conversation and listen to the recording for the second time. And this time, using the feedbacks and the comments that has been provided during the practical session, we want the students to consider how best they can restructure the process and questions. After they have done that, we want the students to post their comments onto the forum, and then to exchange their learning together with the supervisor and the classmate. Now, what makes this learning session valuable? Now, during the practical learning time, or during the time where you're listening to someone coaching and you offer your comment, those are not really learning opportunity. Those are just opportunity demonstrating what you know. Okay, so don't be deceived, by the fact that, oh, I hear the recording and I'm able to provide feedback. It shows that you know it. No, no, no. Yeah, just demonstrating what you know. The real learning begins during the reflective learning, where you listen to the recording second time with the input that is being provided, and you think about how you're going to restructure it or ask a question differently, and write it down. And that's where you crystallize your ideas and thoughts, and by posting it onto the forum, that is where the real learning happens, because you are listening to the story from a third person perspective right now, from a retrospective point of view, and then you see what are the gaps there, and then you think about what you need to do differently. Now, when you do that, your brain actually remember, or in this particular scenario, or in this kind of conversation where you have this kind of context, your brain right now will remember, oh, this is how I should be doing differently. So that is a pattern of doing certain things, so your brain actually remember that. So that is where learning begins. What makes it so valuable? Now, when you are coaching a client next time, when you heard the conversation or you meet a similar context that you have encountered before in those practical coaching sessions, your brain doesn't need to figure out what to say or what to ask or how to direct the process. Your brain will remember that piece of learning and bring it out and create and integrate that into the flow of the conversation, so that you have more mental resources to be more present and listen deeply to the clients. Okay, so that's the value of the supervised practical coaching sessions. What it does is that it offers you a wider, a richer matrix of experience. So in this practical session, you will encounter at least 10 different uh, metrics of experience that you can keep it inside your toolbox. And it really depends, as a whole group, what kind of topic do your friends brings to the coaching table. Some of them may be talking about making a decision, some may be talking about making a career switch, some of them may be thinking of trying to overcome certain weaknesses, or trying to achieve certain goals. So those are different stories or different topics, and you are actually keeping them as your, as a kind of a metric of experience into your toolbox. Okay, so this is one good way of being practical and helping you to hone your skills uh, in a much hone your skills. Okay, whew. So what is the requirements to complete the practical coaching session? Now, the practical coaching session comprises of 35 hours, so it's quite a heavy chunk of work required here. Okay, so the requirements to complete the practical coaching session is there are three parts here. The first part is that you need to attend all 10 practical coaching sessions. Now, we do understand that due to certain commitments, some of you might miss one or two of the session. For this, you do not need to worry too much because we are running this practical coaching session at least 3 to 4 times per week with other groups. You will be given the access to join other groups where you can do your makeup session. But as much as you can, we do encourage you, to stay on with your own group. Okay, but if due to some reasons you can't join that particular session, you can make it up by joining other groups. So that is for the online practical session. You need to attend 10 practical coaching session, preferably within your own group. If not otherwise, you can do makeup session from other cohort. So that is your practical learning, 10 session. Then the second part to complete the practical coaching session is the reflective learning. Now, for this, you need to listen to the recording, do your review, and post your comment onto the forums. There are altogether 10 practical coaching sessions. Therefore, you need to attend. You need to post 10 comments. Okay, that's the way to hold you accountable in terms of meeting the requirements for this training program. Then practical coaching sessions, then comments for one each for the 10 practical sessions. Okay, so in the forum, as during the 4 days in-person training, we will show you the technical setup, how things appeared on the screen for you through your website. Okay, so don't worry about that. What is needed right now is for you to know what is needed for you to complete your training. Then practical coaching session online, and then reflection, one each for every session. So that is the second piece to complete the supervised practical coaching session. And the third piece is at the end of your 10 practical coaching session, you are required to submit one recording for the final review. So this is one extra recording in additional to the 10 practical session. So you can either coach your friend again within your same course, or you can find your friends, outside friends, to be your client. uh, it doesn't matter to us, but what we are looking is one recording after the 10 practical session. We will not be evaluating the impact of the coaching on the clients. We are simply looking at how much you have demonstrated your learning in this recording. So let me repeat again the three requirements to finish your supervised practical coaching session. The first one is attend 10 practical sessions. And if you are unable to join any one of the session, you can always do a makeup by joining other group. The second one is to complete the reflective learning, a minimum one posting for each sessions at the forum. And the third one is to submit one recording for your final review at the end of your 10 practical coaching sessions. And then this brings me to the last piece to complete your requirements, and that is to complete your written assignment. So there are two written assignments, and trust us, we want it to be meaningful. We want it to be something fun. It's not meant to kill you. The first reflection paper is about a movie. There are three movies that we felt that it's very meaningful, that will enrich your understanding of what is it like to be a change agent. So these 3 videos, the movie files are uploaded into your share folder, which I believe by now all of you should have an access to the share folder. So you can watch. We only need you to do watch one movie and do one reflection on that one movie. Okay, so there is no restriction or there's no request. I mean, there's no word. We don't restrict our students on how much they should be write. Okay, it's ready to serve your learning. You can write as much as you can or be concise and no. So it's up to your own initiative and mm, that one we will yeah, and then let's move on to the second assignment. And the second assignment is a research paper. Again, we are not expecting an academic paper. What we aim to achieve in this reflection paper is to crystallize your understanding, and we want that research paper to be done at least. To be submitted at least by the end of your 10 practical coaching sessions. What we hope to achieve is to invite you to do a little bit more thinking over some issues that might have caught your attention during the practical coaching session. In the practical coaching sessions, you really see how those core competency or those science and theory that we taught in class, how are they being demonstrated? Or, you might have some particular interest. Hey, I'm very interested about this thing called presence. How is that happening? So what we want to do is we invite you to go and make some research on that and then share your thoughts around your discovery. Okay, now for some people who have no idea what to write, of course we do have a simple topic that helps you to prepare this paper. It's simply answering this question: what is coaching and what really makes coaching works? Okay, so this is kind of a questions to broaden your thinking and to crystallize your thoughts. Again, it is not a research paper. We don't need you to, for the academic paper, we don't need you to give references and do citation and whatever that is. It's sort of like we are interested in what is your thought. Okay, good. So that forms the third component to complete the training for this coach for this program. So there are 4 days in-person training followed by supervised practical coaching sessions. 4 days training, you require to attend all 4 days. If not otherwise, ICF requires minimum 80%. In terms of fulfilling requirements, 10 practical coaching sessions, 10 reflective learning, and 2 written assignment. Well, I hope this debriefing is clear, helping you to understand what is needed for you to complete the program. Now, Coach Masters Academy is a ICF approved coach provider, and certainly we are obligated to ICF to ensure the standard. And I'm sure these are some minimum way for us to hold you accountable in terms of helping you to hone your skill to become a professional coach. So if you do have any questions regarding this, you can raise them up during the 4 days training, and we're more than happy to explain that to you again. So with that in mind, thank you everybody.